Oh my goodness. I love it. Good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. Joe Bear, he's back at the man cave holding down the fort. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report, as well as Joe Boo's day job. And it is hump day, and it is time to get over the hump. And you know what hump day means? That means the Dallas Cowboys are back on the field as they get ready to take on the Los Angeles Rams. Now, we are 6 days and about 6 hours away from the NFL trade deadline going into effect. Jerry Jones, after seeing the San Francisco 49ers end up losing 2 games back to back to the Cleveland Doo-Doo Browns with an XFL quarterback, as well as then losing to the Minnesota Vikings and Kirk Cousins in prime time, he thinks they can be had. He thinks that with the team that he has put on the field, that we can do what the Minnesota Vikings can do. You know, Jerry there was some question on whether Jerry was throwing the quarterback under the bus because he was talking about the way the quarterback played as in Kirk Cousins did. And maybe some Cowboy fans start saying we need to go get Kirk Cousins this offseason in free agency. But he basically kind of in a way put the play calling on Mike McCarthy. Because, see, here's the difference of what happened with Minnesota. Minnesota went out there and basically said, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. We don't have Justin Jefferson. We don't have the stars that San Francisco has. It doesn't matter. We got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Let's not be scared tonight. Let's go out there and have some fun. Let's go out there and take some chances. Let's go out there and bitch slap them. They went out there with no fears. They let it all hang out. The problem for the Cowboys, and you can see this a little bit with the Chargers game. Mike McCarthy is not Riverboat Ron. He's not a gambler. He's playing conservative and close to the vest and saying, I don't want to lose this. Which to me is the difference of Rod Marnelli versus Dan Quinn. Rod Marnelli's philosophy when he was our defensive coordinator was bend, don't break. We'll give you the stuff up close. You know, we just don't want to get, nothing deep and nothing cheap. We just don't want them to go ahead and get the deep ball on us. We don't want to go ahead and bite and have somebody get the real quick score, which you're basically waiting for them to make a mistake. Dan Quinn? Well, Dan Quinn is a different beast. Dan Quinn is aggressive. Screw that. We might get beat sometimes, but we're going to make plays. We're going to be aggressive. We're not going to give up and just say, you can have this part of the field. We're going to say we own all of it. We're coming after you. We're going to blitz you. We're going to take your quarterback down. We're not going to give you time to try and pick us apart. That's a difference in philosophy. And you've seen the Dallas Cowboys defense, which is good, starting to become great. When the Cowboys defense is on, bro, they are wrecking people. Justin Herbert, they got a cheap touchdown because of a bad call, and that's another thing that we have to get into too later on, because this official that grew up close to the Philadelphia who was released by the NCAA for unethical work is an NFL ref that ended up not calling any calls against Miami, but had questionable ones going the way of the Eagles. We'll get into that one a little bit later. But that's the difference of our defense going from being good to being great. And if we can ever stop fighting the officials, man, look out. We will be awesome. Be that as it may, that's the difference of Jerry Jones now versus Jerry Jones of the past. And maybe it wasn't Jerry Jones. Maybe it was actually Jimmy Johnson, who was the one that said, let's make that Herschel Walker trade. Not Jerry Jones. Maybe it was actually Jimmy Johnson who had the cojones. Because what we've seen from Jerry Jones, I don't see it. The risk taking, I don't see it. Maybe Jimmy Johnson was the one with the balls, because Jerry doesn't seem to have it. And I understand it kind of was a deja vu moment here this morning. See, Jerry Jones has to be the center of the universe and of attention at all times, right? This is why when Jimmy Johnson is getting inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, this is Jimmy Johnson's moment that Jerry Jones tries to steal the moment from him. Can't let him have that. You know, Jimmy, Jimmy, we gonna put you in the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor up there because you're great. You only did that. Let's be clear. You only did that to try and steal some of the thunder from Jimmy Johnson. Don't get me wrong. It is incredible to be one of those guys who played for the Cowboys that will forever have your name on the side of the stadium. That is incredible. But it pales in comparison to being one of those 300 and some odd guys that are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Not everybody that's in the rings of honor of all these teams are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You get that, right, Jerry? But yet you had to try and steal that moment. So here's the problem with making trades for Jerry Jones. He doesn't want to risk not having the opportunity to be that guy at the draft. If you trade away your number one pick, they're not talking about you till later in the draft. I don't know for sure that this is what it is, but I'm betting when we traded away the number one pick for Amari Cooper, which paid dividends, mind you, which could still be paying dividends, mind you, that when we went into the draft that next year, and we didn't have a draft pick until late in the second round, where we drafted Tristan Hill, Jerry Jones and them boys weren't the center of the universe. We just weren't. There was no buildup. What are the Cowboys going to do? Could the Cowboys move up and take a quarterback up here? Could they trade back with the Cowboys? There was nothing to do there. So it was literally Jerry Jones sitting there twiddling his thumbs. So he doesn't want to have loss of the spotlight at any point. In fact, the fact that everybody is coming to him and saying, Jerry, make a trade. He controls the emotions of all of us. Every single one of us are bowing and watching. What will the emperor do? What will Jerry Jones do? You know, I'm satisfied with it. And we're all talking about it. Because see, attention seekers, it doesn't matter if they're seeking you for something you're doing that's great or something bad. Jerry's getting what he needs, his fix, and being able to control the emotions of every single one of us. And if we lose, well, he's still controlling our emotions. So Jerry Jones won't make any trades, and he loves the fact that everybody's talking about, well, the Cowboys should do this, the Cowboys should do that, No, they follow my every move. And so that's where you look at it and say, we're not going to do that. And I knew when I woke up, when Jerry woke up the next morning, I said this to Brian. I don't remember if I said this in the video or not. I said, it was yesterday afternoon. I was talking to Brian in the car. And I'm glad Brian's not throwing me under the bus today. But I said, if I was the Cowboys, if I was Jerry Jones and I woke up Tuesday morning, I would look at this and say, maybe the 49ers aren't invincible like we thought, that they are a regular team just like everybody else. We know that we've had success against the Eagles. We look at it and say that the Lions have come back down to earth, and that there's no true juggernaut team in the NFC right now. That it's going to be who's playing best at the end of the season. And this is probably the best opportunity that we have had in a long time. There's not Tom Brady with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's not Aaron Rodgers with the Green Bay Packers. There's not the LA Rams with everybody and a young Aaron Donald. You look at this and say, there's three teams out there that all have flaws. San Francisco, the big question I had with San Francisco was, with Trent Williams getting older, would he hold up? Christian McCaffrey, who's had an injury history, is Brock Purdy going to have, the second year curse? San Francisco has a tendency to be really, really good and then kind of not so much the next year. A lot of times with Kyle Shanahan, except for the last 2 years, they've been really good. So maybe it's time for a little downturn. That was my thoughts going into the season. You look at now that they're breaking down. You look at the Eagles, and you look at it and say, although they went and addressed their safety, and we'll see how well he plugs and plays in there. But you looked at the Eagles and say their secondary has not been good. They're great on the defensive front. But you look at this and say their secondary can be had. You look at them with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is still playing great. But Jalen Hurts is not the guy he was last year. He has become a turnover machine. They don't tell you about that. He's got 10 turnovers this season, 8 interceptions leading the NFL, and 2 fumbles. Mind you, twice the number of interceptions of Dak Prescott. You look at the Lions. We don't really know what the Lions are right now because the Lions have beaten Kansas City and played great, but then they get shellacked by Baltimore. So I just don't know. I just don't know. And they lost to Seattle. I just don't know that the Lions are your daddy's Lions or if these are the new and improved Lions that are a contender. But if I'm the Cowboys, I say I got as good a chance as anybody else. Why don't I add to making my odds better? Why don't I make sure that if I lose another great player, I've got somebody else that's really good to go in there? Why don't I look and say, I lost Diggs. I need to get somebody else who's really, really good to replace them. Why don't I look at this and say, Tony Pollard is dynamic, but maybe I need that bruising back. And you could say, you know what? Damn the torpedoes. We suck with second-round picks, okay? The chances of us getting great players, because you can look back in the last 10 years, 2 players in the second round, Diggs and D-Law. That's it. Right now, everything else looks like a road of just crap. Now, that's not to say that Sam Williams won't turn it around. Maybe he does. But so far, we haven't seen the potential that we thought we had. Schoonmaker, he's He's got plenty of time to change. But when you start looking at the Jalen Smiths, the Taco Charlton, I mean, not Taco, from Florida. We just got rid of him. Boss Man Fats. You know, you go down the list and you start looking and saying, second round picks for the Cowboys are not good. I'm okay trading that second round pick. But go in and say, you know what? We're going to appease the fans. Because I don't think the fans will kill you if you said, you know what? We're going to take a number one pick and a pick the following year, and we're going to go get Patrick Surtain. We're going to take a third round pick, and we're going to try and get Henry. We'll be able to pound the football in the middle, and we can get back to being shut down corners. And you look at that and say, with Patrick Surtain, when you get Diggs back as Gilmore ages out, that you got the best tandem right there. And you look at this and say, it's a $6 million rental for Derrick Henry. Problem is, come draft time, you're not relevant. So we're going to play this exercise because it's all we got. Rich Eisen, I haven't seen the clip yet. Rich Eisen talks about the 5 biggest trades that should happen. And I'm betting that one of them will be the Cowboys. So let's go to the tape. Okay, so let's hear what should happen. We'd like to see happen, but we know won't happen for the Cowboys.
You might be watching this whenever you're watching it. At this moment, we are 2 hours away from being 1 week away from the trade deadline. And here's my top 5 list of guys I would go all in for at the trade deadline. Hit it. High 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Rich's top 5.
Now then, we all know Kevin Byard, Mr. Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Titans, a 5-time captain on the back end of their defense. Wow. I don't know, Howie Roseman did his Jedi mind trick again. Although Rand Carthon knows what he's doing. I had a nice chat with the general manager of the Titans over in London. But, you know, Kevin Byard is now a Philadelphia Eagle, which means maybe, you know, the Titans are open for business. More than just that. Keep a pin in that for later on in my top 5. But the reason why I'm mentioning all of this is because there's a safety market that's out there, and I don't think it's over and filled and done with. I don't think Philadelphia is the only one that was in this market. And if you're interested in somebody who is a team captain, don't forget that. They made him a captain in Denver. Boston College's finest, Justin Simmons, number 5 on this list. I would call up the Denver Broncos. You need a safety, and you need the back end of your defense solidified because your offense is ready to roll, and you've got a chance to make the playoffs this year and make a run. You get this guy. And a lot of Denver Bronco fans are hearing me right now, and they're saying, shut up. We don't want him going anywhere. We want him staying here. This is a guy who's been caping for Russ. This is a guy who puts his heart out there on the field for the Denver Broncos and is a face of the franchise. And this guy, I would go all in for. And again, by all in, I mean I'll overpay. I'll Godfather offer if I feel like this guy's going to put me over the top. Or you can come up with the way Howie Roseman could do. You know, these aren't the droids you're looking for. He's your safety.
True on that.
So that's number 5. Number 4 on the list. If the Titans are open for business, I am calling up Rand Carthon, and I am saying, I want DeAndre Hopkins. When I had a conversation with this all-pro in London, I'm like, okay, he's got a head on his shoulders. He has got a bunch of talent. You think he's toast because we're not seeing him be DeAndre Hopkins in Tennessee like we saw in Houston and Arizona? You think he's toast because Arizona let him walk?
You're wrong.
He was talking about, and the Titans confirmed it, his GPS numbers, he's running as fast as he's ever run before. He is at the top of his game. And I'll say it again. I say it all the time. Name me another receiver when he's on the sideline that you know his feet are in bounds.
True on that.
You know when he's going to the ground on the sideline, not only did he make the catch, the ground isn't going to knock it loose. You know he tapped his feet. Like, I don't
He's
need
got
to see the
fly
replay.
paper for hands.
That's DeAndre Hopkins. Why wouldn't the Bills go and get him? Again, why wouldn't the Bills go and get him? Go get him. Go get him. That's just a one of the for instances.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't Dallas
Thank
go?
you. That was my
get
whole
him?
point in the offseason. We got Brandon Cooks. That's great.
Go get him.
He's not the type of receiver that we need for that offense. This guy.
You do need a guy like that that's got fly paper. Could you imagine if you had Brandon
Number
Cooks
3.
and had DeAndre
I don't know if he's
Hopkins?
available because the Rams offered 2 ones for him last year and they said no. But now they're 0-6 and they're out of draft choices. They're out of draft choices. Right now they're going to watch the Bears maybe get Caleb Williams or watch somebody else. Watch the Bears get Marvin Harrison. I mean, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But Brian Burns, you know, hey, Carolina, are you? Because I understand why they wouldn't want to pluck someone off the offense and trade him. Because you're still trying to evaluate Bryce Young right now. So I understand Adam Thielen's lighting it up. That would be a bad guy to call up to say, is he available? But I understand why Carolina's like, we're not touching the offense here. We're just we need to evaluate this kid, and we need him to get his lumps taken care of now so we don't have him later. Like, call up Carolina, Brian Burns. And you know their
That would
first,
be
their
awesome.
first order of business, like, we said no to the Rams for 2 1s, so what do you have? You can replenish. Number
That's
2.
way too high.
You know how I feel about this guy. If the Titans are selling, how much for Derrick Henry? How much? And I'll pay it. Hey, I said yesterday with David Montgomery going down,
I'd go
the
second
Lions
round.
didn't have that sand in the pants type running back. What about this guy for the Detroit Lions? What if you stick him in Detroit? Now, again, I know David Montgomery has been terrific, and he's hurt now, and he comes back. Split the carries. Derrick Henry has this year, we looked at it going into the game against the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
The kid Tajay Spears has taken 50% of the snaps. Now, sometimes the two of them are on the field. So Henry's getting fewer snaps this season than he's had, in a while.
Which is good.
So
He's
do
not
that
beat
in
up.
the Lions backfield. How about sending him downhill against the Eagles and the 49ers? You think that fits what Dan Campbell wants? How about
Think that
the
fits what
Bills
Mike McCarthy wants?
doing this? And plus, you can call up the Titans and say he's in another conference if you're Detroit. What if you're Dallas? Come on, man.
Thank you.
Another one. Because just look at what McCaffrey has done for the 49ers. 49ers plus. Henry plus is young. But he's pushing 30, which means you might be able to give up less for him. Number 1 is Saquon. That's it. Hey, Giants, you don't want to pay him?
No.
We'll pay him. Hey, Giants.
I would go for
we know
Derrick
you love
Henry
him. We know he
over
doesn't want to be
Barkley
traded.
any day.
But, you just won your second game. Come on now.
And they don't want to pay him.
Flip an insane amount for Saquon Barkley. He could be your McCaffrey.
All right, we can stop right there. But I would say for the Cowboys want to do, the problem with Barkley is he's a home run hitter. And he is incredible. He's dynamic. He can catch the ball. But the problem is the injury history. And I know Derrick Henry has got some injury history right now, too, that he's older and things. But you're talking about $6.4 million is all that's left on his contract for this year. The next 2 years are voidable. When you think about what the Rams did when they ended up bringing in Von Miller, when you think about what they did with Odell Beckham, they looked at it and said, we're just going to rent them for this season, basically. You put Derrick Henry to be able to run the ball in the middle. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. And the way we use second-round picks, the way they're just not making hay, there you go. Jerry, you can have your cake and eat it, too. You still have your number 1 pick. You make a big move that will be blowing up the internet. You are truly relevant right now. And you increase your chances of getting a ring again. That's what we got for you guys. Well, we're here at the Red Brick House. We're going to be doing some work and stuff on here. Subtly, you'll see some changes happening and stuff. I haven't worked on this outdoor space as much as I've been working on the downstairs. JMU in a couple of days has their homecoming. We're actually going to host a little event here on Sunday, and we're going to be live streaming the game from here Sunday. So this will be a first for Joe Boo Sports. So haven't been doing the things up here that I want to do, but we're just about squared away down there where we're really going to get this place together. And I just can't wait. I truly enjoy this house and getting this place together. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you. Peace.